Yeah, I think what first drew me to the script was the fact that Nick was doing it. Nick had written it and he was directing this film, and I've worked for Nick for, well, many a times, both as a director and a cinematographer. So the chance to work with Nick and his team was enough for me before I'd even read it. Then after reading it, the chance to delve into a historical kind of background, but equally it was a fun thing to do. It was a fun story. I knew there was going to be lots of ensemble work with a great cast. So for me, that was enough to say yes. In terms of prep, I'm quite lucky in some regards because as an actor, I've done quite a lot of work with the two sort of big wars, World War One and World War Two. So I suppose I delved back into research that I've done before. I went to the Imperial War Museum again. I've been there quite a few times with different various projects. I looked at different sides of it. I spent a lot of time on YouTube searching things I probably shouldn't have searched. There was a lot of bomb making, there was a lot of bomb disposal, just because my character Charlie, did that during the Second World War. And also, I looked into the special unit in which this was kind of based, which I'd never done before. That was a whole element of World War II I didn't know about. And I was really lucky because the BBC had a documentary all about them. This sort of special unit that became something else after the war. So that was great. And then also I did a little interview with somebody who was deaf and talked to them about how it was and how they kind of read and things like that. So, there was a lot of work to do in terms of prep for this. And the physical thing, as always, we did a lot of sort of prep before that as well. So, yeah. I think the challenges for this movie was a lot of late nights and a lot of blurry-eyed kind of crew and cast. Although the schedule was quite grueling, there was plenty of rest and plenty of... the scheduling didn't work against people. You could have, sleep and well during the day and then come in for a night shoot. But, it's always quite hard when you suddenly are effectively working nights. And there was a lot of forests. There was a lot of wandering through lots of undergrowth, people falling over. So that was kind of, challenging in some regard. The physical stuff was challenging, but equally we had plenty of prep time for that. So I thought actually on the day we'd already done the hard work when it came to that. There's some historical elements to this, especially about the special unit in which we sort of explored. That hasn't been done before, I'm sure. But equally, I would say it's a fun British movie about not making or belittling something that was obviously horrific, like the Second World War, but it's an interesting look at it from a fun perspective, a bit like the old sort of classic war films. Really, it's much more about following a bunch of people on their journey, and there's plenty of heart in there. There's plenty of relationship kind of stuff between the main cast. So don't just take it for its face value. It's not just about World War II and fighting. It's much more about the people involved within that. Only people falling over. There was so many people falling over, again, late night in the woods. There's some great outtakes of Joe falling over, falling through certain foliage and falling past leaves and round trees and all sorts. And there was loads of people, I think Nick took a tumble a few times as well, so that was always fun. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, it was a really memorable shoot in the sense that we went away for 2.5 weeks. We were all living with each other. We were kind of working every day and going out to various locations that were quite nearby our base. And like I say, there were lots of blurry nights and long days. But overall, it felt a little bit like a movie within a movie. It was like a summer kind of project. So yeah, it was fun in that sense. I think the main themes are the people in the war, the people that were affected. Because actually there's some really lovely scenes with additional characters in the sense that they might not be on the main kind of journey through the plot of the film that you could argue, but it still affects them. So it's the people left behind, it's the people, the sisters, the wives, the uncles, all these kind of things that's in the background of the backstories of the characters. I think that makes it quite unique. I think it makes it quite interesting in a different take. And also the fact that this is a film that's being done, for a relatively low budget, but telling a story that's the high concept. And I think it's not done very often, so that makes it unique. Oh, I mean, this is an easy one, because, there's so much in my sort of history as a young boy watching war movies and things. You know, you could go to Band of Brothers and all these kind of modern ones. But for me, I looked at Kelly's Heroes, The Dirty Dozen and The Great Escape. And I think those three films are all light-hearted adventures in a very serious environment. But they are the key element for those and the preparation to this film, it was about the ensemble. This film is an ensemble. It's about that collective and that connection between that collective. And all three of those films, it's all about those characters going on that journey together.